Hello, everyone. It's Alex from Metal Master Kingdom, and thank you for coming to another episode of Virtual Chats. And today on the show, we have the great pleasure of welcoming one of the big Teutonic Four. We have Tom Angelripper of Sodom on the show. So, Tom, I just want to say thank you so much for spending some time to chat with me. I've been a fan for like about 15 years since I was like in high school. So, real pleasure to have you on the show.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. So, first off, I got to ask you, how's the weather where you are in Germany?
Rainy.
Raining?
Yeah. Tomorrow it's gonna be better, but today we had a lot of rain.
Hmm.
It's always we have some days it's raining all day, and another the next weeks are without anything, without rain. And then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sun is burning down. But
Yep.
for me it's a good day. I got the first copy in my hand.
Ah, nice. Nice.
Yes, I get the first copies for me and the band.
There you
Uh,
go.
and it's always a great day to hold this in hand.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, as you just held up the first copy of the new album, The Arsonist, coming out at the end of next month. I had the chance to listen to it for the past couple weeks, and it's another beast as always. Talk about the formation of this album. Like I know you guys did the 40-year anniversary of Greatest Hits Sodom album. Was the writing for this album after that, or did it start before that?
I think the writing of the new material started after Genesis 19 was released.
Oh, okay.
We that was during the Corona pandemic. We had a lot of time because we had no shows, no touring, and we used the time for writing songs in the rehearsal room.
Right.
I know that was forbidden to meet with the other guys, during the pandemic, but we never mind. We just want to do our job. And there is no special time period when we start writing new songs. We always have ideas for new songs.
Right.
My guitar players are collecting guitar riffs, and sometimes we have a meeting in the rehearsal room and putting everything together. Because I'm not a songwriter in this way. I'm a arranger of the songs. I'm a singer. I have to put my lyrics on it.
Yep.
And especially on this album is also that our drummer Tony is also a good guitarist, and
Ah,
he wrote 5 songs for the new album, which
nice.
is the Trigger Discipline. It's a Witch Hunter song. The next upcoming single is Tepephobia. So we have a really colorful. Everything is colorful because Frank he's doing his Agent Orange style thrashy riffs. York is coming from a new wave of British heavy metal bands, more epic. And Tony's coming from a black metal scene, a death metal scene.
Yep.
So I never mind. We just do a Sodom song and we keep the Sodom trademarks in it.
Yeah. And true to Sodom style as well. So,
It's a style. Some people say it's. I think Sodom is not a typical thrash metal band. It's not
yeah.
our style. I think we can use also regular classic metal riffs. Like Venom in the 80s. I think Venom was a metal band. They
Yep.
blow it up as black metal with the vocals, satanic image, whatever. Um, so we have no way to go. So we have no special sound. We just want to have metal songs with the song trademarks.
Yeah. And one thing that a lot of bands, especially ones that maybe that have been around for years and years, when it comes to writing material, is when it comes to writing stuff, sometimes bands will go back and listen to their old stuff so they make sure that they don't repeat themselves. Do you guys ever do something like that? So like we don't want it to sound like this song or this album, so we want to keep it fresh.
Never, because all the song albums are completely different. When we recorded some 40 years at war, we re-recorded all the material. So we have to get into Obsessed by Cruelty stuff, Inner Son of Evil, demos. Well, it's really funny to do. And but we don't want to copy ourselves. I remember back when Ancient Orange came out and it was really successful.
Mhm.
The record company dictated us to do another part of Agent Orange. The
Right.
same music, the same style.
Mhm.
We don't want because we changed the guitarist. There was Michael Hoffman in 90, so we get another style playing guitars. And they were a little bit disappointed. I like Better Off That. It's one of my favorite albums after Agent Orange.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we don't want to copy ourselves. We never. So when we start writing songs. we don't look what we have done in the past, or we never look what other bands do, getting more commercial, you know.
Yeah.
There is no dictation from outside who going to tell us what to do, you know.
Yeah.
Also, the record company never tell us to. We recorded the album, they get the master, and they gonna release it or not, you know.
Yep.
So we just look forward. We just write new songs, you know.
Yep.
Some people say it sounds a little bit like Slayer in it, or some people say it's a little bit Venom in it, yeah. But we don't want to copy Slayer. We don't want to do Slayer songs, you know.
Yep.
Sometimes you have guitarists. They another guitarist played years before, you know.
Yep.
It's everything is possible, you know. But important is when we're gonna write songs that we have good chorus lines, you know.
Yep.
When you listen once or twice, you will never forget the chorus. You know, that is very important.
Absolutely. And you guys definitely, like I said, you have your own unique sound and a traditional style, and you yourself have a very distinct vocal style as well. Like I could listen to like any recording, like if you were to guest on somebody, like I could easily pick out like that's Tom from Sodom right there. Like
Yeah.
how did that come out? How did you find your vocal style over the years?
I have different vocal styles, you know. On the new album, yeah, there is I pitch the vocals very high, like it's like Tom Araya screaming, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I also have a couple of songs where it's more shouting, like Kronos, for example, or
Mhm.
Lemmy, you know,
Yeah,
whatever. And I'm also be able to do the more growling stuff like a death element, you know.
yeah,
Um, so I'm able to do everything, you know, and in some points, you know, we didn't know what is exactly good for this song, you know. So
yeah,
we recorded a couple of songs with three different vocals, you
yeah,
know, in three different ways, you know. And when we start the mixing, we decided, oh, this one, the screaming is good for the chorus, the shouting is good for the bridge, whatever, you know.
mm,
I don't have an own style, but when I listen high vocals or growling, I have my Tom Angelripper treatments. And people, oh, it's Tom Angelripper. It doesn't matter if I'm going to do growling or screaming. You know, that is very important that you have to create your own style, vocal style. You know,
yep,
but I don't want to copy any of them. You know, I don't want to copy of Tom Araya or Kronos or Lemmy or whatever. You know,
yeah,
I try to find my own style. You know.
yeah. If you were to ever like be challenged for like something vocally, would you ever put like a clean vocal on on a Sodom song?
No, not really. I don't. I think I have sometimes I've clean vocals. You know, it's not so distorted. You know.
Yeah,
Um, I remember I'm able to sing clean songs as well. You know, I had a side project years before. It's called Uncle Tom. You know, where I have the German drinking songs. You know, and I'm able to sing like a what we say in German, Schlager singer. You
yep,
know, but it don't fit for any solo records. You know.
yeah. The term Schlager, as we said, it's more like a joining in like a unity singing kind of thing, because that's what I heard.
Yeah, Schlager is something what was really famous in the 70s. You know.
Right.
In Germany. They were singing like Heino, Mireille Mathieu,
Yep.
chanson, and all this stuff, you know. And Dr. Tom stuff was traditional drinking songs, you know, with my vocals, but sometimes I had to do clean vocals, you know.
Right. Right.
I think I'm a good singer. I'm able to do all that stuff, you know.
For sure. And go back to the record real quick. Something else that not a lot of bands do these days, but you're one of the few bands that actually has still managed to do this. For the drums, you mentioned that you recorded the drums on analog tape.
Mhm.
Like I love hearing about that because you always hear about bands recording like always with computers and all that, but you're one of the few bands, maybe like you can count on one hand, one of the bands that still uses analog tape. Do you plan? Is that a choice to do on like each record that you do?
Maybe because in this case, you know, a friend of Tony is running a studio with a tape machine, you know,
Mhm.
and a big mixing analog desk, you know. And we visit this guy in the studio and ask him, do you still recording bands? The machine is from the 70s, you know. And yes, he said, that is my hobby, you know, we still be recording bands. If you want to use it, I can I can arrange it, you know. And I asked Tony because we need 24 tracks just for recording drums
Yeah.
nowadays, you know. And the problem is if you are a drummer and recording on tape, you know, and there is any mistake or anything, you have to restart from the beginning, Like a digital, you can put it together, you can cut it here and put this in on your. So my opinion was, I think there is a difference between analog recording and digital, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the main part is that we don't use any samples in the end,
Yeah.
which other bands do, I think, because if you record it on computer with the interface, you can put the plugins in, the snare samples or the trigger from the bass drums, I don't want it, I talked to Tony, I want to have a natural drum sound like in the 80s,
Yeah. Yeah.
We can mix it a little bit, but I don't want to have any digital samples on it,
Yeah.
And so in the end, we get a real natural drum sound,
Yeah.
like in a rehearsal room or in a live concert, We
Yeah.
recorded the guitars on a computer, but with microphones, I know that other guitarists, they use Kemper,
Yeah.
profiling amps, whatever, I'm not in this material and I don't want to know it, But there, it's usual, it's payable now, it's easy to use, Um, but I want to have a wide open production like in the 80s, where the guitars are left and right,
Yeah.
But in the end, we got a problem, because we have a wide open production, and my engineer who mastered the album told me that people listen on a smartphone.
Mhm.
Yes, people listen to music on a smartphone. It's another world for me,
Yeah.
But we have to compress the whole file in a digital way,
Yeah.
Get the guitars closer to the drums and the vocals, more
Yeah.
in the center
Yeah.
of the mix, It's a way it is,
Yeah.
I am somebody who enjoy music with my stereo hi-fi equipment, And so I take my vinyl on, put the lyrics out, and I want to enjoy music. I'm not just a music consumer. I want to enjoy it,
Absolutely.
But it's nowadays everything is different,
Yeah.
You have to mix it for Spotify because it's MP3
Yeah.
compressed files, and YouTube, whatever, But if you're gonna buy the vinyl, I think it's more wide open, We keep the guitars far away from the drums,
Yeah.
But it's a very good experience. I know it's expensive recording on tape because you're sitting in the studio,
Yeah.
You're not sitting in a rehearsal room. You can recording for free, So
Yeah.
I want to spend some money for it,
For sure, and the end result is really really killer. Like when I was listening to the album, like, and I'm listening to the drums. As a drummer myself, I love hearing like the little nuances with the drums, and that kick sound is just pounding. Like it's really good
Yes.
to hear that.
And here's a big room for recording the drums, And in some production, when I listen to drum, I don't hear. I want to hear the hi-hat,
Yeah,
And some production you never hear hi-hat or you never see the right fields, and everything. I want to hear everything.
true.
If you listen to an older Slayer album like Hell Awaits, whatever, you listen, you get everything,
Yep.
because the files don't want to get compressed,
Yep.
Um, so I know that a lot of drummers they use the same software, and something it sounds like plastic,
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tony has a Marpex drum kit, a very good one. It sounds really good live in organic. You don't have to use any samples for it,
Absolutely.
So that's a way to go, but it's very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And you've also gone on record to say that once the album comes out, the band will be slowing down quite a bit so you can have time for, your personal hobbies and even
Mm.
spend some time with your family. Does that mean like no Sodom shows at all for a while? Or if the right opportunity comes up, you might do like a one-off like festival if it's the right one?
No more solo shows. Yeah, I think we have two shows booked already next month. We play in Copenhagen,
Oh yeah.
Denmark, and we play one show in Germany, Rock Hearts Festival.
Oh yeah.
And then it's gone.
Right, right.
Yes, it's gone. So I want to I need a break. It's in my age, I'm still in very good condition. My
Yeah.
doctor said, you're still able to do it. You're strong, but slow it down. Stay home or stay with the family. Stay with good old friends. I have a lot of other hobbies like hunting. I need more time. I have an own hunting district, so I have to go there. And yes, that's the way it is. I talked to the boys last year, and they said it's we are loyal to your decision. That is not a problem. I think if Tony has 5 different other bands where we're gonna play because he's one of the best drummers in Germany. So if he's on the market, the bands want to get Tony on the drums. Frank pushing up his own solo project, Frank Blackfire, and
Mhm.
he's running a guitar school. York is working in a record store, so they are fine, they are safe, I think. But my record company told me that's a very you get a new album out, you have to play this, you get offered some festivals, you have to go and play this live,
Yeah,
present a couple of songs live.
yeah,
I know to decide this, it is always uncomfortable. The time is not never
yeah,
comfortable to do this. Um, yeah, but that's my personal decision. But I don't have any plans for coming back. I don't want to tell the people I'm coming back next year or 27, whatever. I don't know.
yeah,
So I don't want to set myself under pressure when it's going to tell the people I'm going to come back this time.
yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. I will see. I don't want to do any plans.
So an indefinite hiatus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
it's so these 2 shows and then it's gone. I'm still busy in the music scene in Sodom because we are working on a back catalog.
yeah, yeah.
We released the Tapping the Vein, so the next one will be Get What You Deserve.
Mm,
And I talked to the BMG. The BMG bought the complete back catalog from SBB, from the older record company.
right, right.
So we have a big back catalog to re-release, and that is a lot of work.
Yeah, you mentioned like working with the back catalog. Like next year is the 40th anniversary of Obsessed with by Cruelty. I was gonna say like any plans to re-release that one?
Yes, there are a lot of plans, but we start doing this. We want to re-release the period with Andy Brings on the guitars. So Tapping the Veil was the next one is Get What You Deserve, and Aber Bitte mit Sahne, which was a single EP
Hmm.
in '93, and we also talk about Maroon, the live album. We have a lot of material. But Obsessed by Cruelty will be then definitely one of the projects to do, because there was a lot of questions that people have about Obsessed by Cruelty because of 2 different recordings. And I want to tell the whole story about Obsessed by Cruelty.
Yeah, yeah,
So I want to make a book in a box set, whatever, so people get all the information and all material they need to know about Obsessed by Cruelty.
yeah.
That is a lot of work to do. The only difference is I'm gonna do more home office. Just 2 upcoming shows, yeah.
Right.
And then the last show will be on the same day this album gonna be released. We're gonna do a release party and a signing session, meet and greet on the Rock Arts Festival.
Mm,
And after that I go home.
yeah. And you mentioned that you're still feeling good, in good
Yeah.
condition, and it tells that you are. What do you do to keep fit and healthy?
Smoking. I don't know. I'm always busy doing something.
Right.
Um, I move around a lot I'm still going to a hunting district. We have to walk and have to do this. I'm always active, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any sports, or maybe I'm gonna do some sports. I don't know. Because I'm always busy doing something.
Right. Right.
And the next project will be maybe quit smoking. I'm gonna try a couple of times, but
Yeah.
it really don't work.
Right.
Um, no, I just need to spend more time for other things.
Yeah. For sure.
Because if you're in a professional band, after the Corona pandemic, we were busy every day.
Mhm.
We are touring, and the time I want to spend on stage is something what I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't want to waste so much time for touring, for being in airports or hotels or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when we played in Hell's Heroes in Texas, we just had one show, and
Yeah.
we was traveling one week.
Yeah.
I enjoy being on stage. That's my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know if you're gonna play in America or South America, you have to fly. There is no
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
way. I
Yeah.
know, but no, in my age, I'm getting 62. I don't want to waste time.
Yeah. For sure. It's always a travel that people always talk about that wears on them after a long time. Like getting from point A to point B is always
Yes.
the hard part. So I totally get it.
Yeah, you got to come to America, you have a jet lag, and coming back, and it's really hard,
Yeah,
It was the same like Tom Araya when he stopped doing the Slayer stuff, He
yeah, yeah,
told he got some serious health issues, with the neck
yeah,
and back and all the stuff. And he also told them in one interview I wrote here that he want to see his kiddies growing up.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, so when he said when we release a new Slayer album, we've touring 2 years maybe. We are
Yeah,
always on the road. And
yeah,
that is something he don't want anymore.
yeah,
So what he gonna do is he gonna do some some festivals where Slayer do some single shows, whatever. But
yeah,
this big touring and recording stuff,
yeah,
this is something he don't want to do anymore.
yeah, exactly. You
I
mentioned
heard about it.
yeah, you mentioned hunting and all that. What do you hunt in particular?
In my district, we have roe deers
Hmm.
and boars, wild pigs,
Wild pigs, yeah,
yeah.
nice.
But you have to, well, to shoot wild pigs, you have to go out in the night. I have some thermal equipment, to use it in the night. Yeah, and that is what I do since I was 20 years old. I get my hunting license, and then I start collecting guns, and coming to the hunting business.
Yeah,
That's my really big passion.
yeah, for
Besides
sure,
the music.
for sure.
And so I want to spend more time in my district. Sometimes you're sitting there on a high stand, you never see something. Sometimes you're gonna shoot a good roebuck, whatever. You
Yeah,
being together with good friends, drinking a beer, hunting.
yeah. And you butcher your own meat.
Yes, yes.
Good to hear. Like it's always great to hear, like about getting it like directly from the source itself. Like
Yeah,
nothing better.
it's clean. It's the best meat you can buy.
Yeah,
And if you're gonna buy some meat to the butcher, you pay a lot of money for it.
for
It's
sure.
very expensive. So I get this for free. I have so many friends who said, can you shoot another row because we need deers.
Yeah,
I gotta shoot 12 rows in a year, and maybe 10 pigs, whatever.
yeah,
Um, I have so many friends who really enjoy this meat.
yeah, yeah. What's your
It's
favorite kind of meat?
what
What's your favorite kind of meat? Is it be pork or would it be beef?
it's it's pork, yeah, definitely.
Pork, yeah. Can't
The boar's wild pork. It's different to the regular pork, what you get at McDonald's, whatever. No,
yep,
it tastes better. It
yeah.
tastes cleaner. I can explain.
Yeah, I'm a big pork guy, so can't go wrong with pork. I love all kinds, beef, chicken, fish, and all that. But if I had to pick one if I could survive on one meat for the rest of my life,
Just pork.
it'd be pork.
Yeah, yeah. It's the best one. And if you get it also from a forest, it's clean.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, you might have gotten this question quite a bit over the years, but I'm not sure if I maybe like heard you answer anywhere. Where did the name Angel Ripper come from?
I really don't know because when we formed the band in '82,
Yeah,
we I don't want to print my real name on the cover of a CD or on a booklet, whatever. No, I don't know. We got drunken. And I told her that's witch hunter. You are the witch hunter. You are the drummer.
yeah,
You are. What's your name? My name is Aggressor. I'm a guitarist. I'm Tom Angelripper. I don't know where it's. Or it was Angelripper in the beginning without Tom.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Stupid. There was a kind of fashion to looking for special names.
Yeah,
It's like Kronos or Mentos, Avalon.
yeah, for sure.
You know, the first Venom record, it changed everything.
Yeah,
And we want to do it in the same way. When we started, we were the biggest Venom fans ever. This album, Welcome to Hell, changed the music scene, changed my life.
yeah,
And we came up with the idea of forming a band which is heavier than Venom and faster than Metallica. That was our slogan all the time.
yeah, yeah.
And then we start trying to play our instruments.
For sure. Like, oh, there was always I always hear about like that competition like back in the day. We want to be faster and heavier than these guys and all that. So kind of a
Yeah,
cool thing that you hear about.
we always want to be heavier than Creator, which
Oh
what
yeah,
you meant in the beginning, you know.
yeah, yeah. So
Creator was more melodic, you know, and we were more rough, you know, and I think sort of the first 2 or 3 years we were completely chaotic, you know.
yeah, yeah,
You know, when you listen to Obsessed by Cruelty, you know, nobody told us when you're recording guitars, you have to tune it before you record it. And
yeah,
nobody told us, so we didn't do it, you know. We just get drunk, you know. But there's what glory times, you know. There was a lot of fans outside. They're gonna tell me Obsessed by Cruelty is the holy grail of everything.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the best Sodom album ever recorded.
Yep.
This album had a big impact to the black metal scene in Scandinavia, whatever, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
is true, you know, and people are really waiting for a re-release. That is what I'm doing now.
yeah. And as a fan myself, I would definitely, for me, like the Holy Trinity is, of course, Obsessed by Cruelty, Persecution Mania, and of course Agent Orange. But
Mm.
you would throw in like Tapping the Vein in there as well. So there's always that saying, especially with your first album, that no matter how inexperienced you may be, there's just something about any band's first album that just has magic to it. And Obsessed by Cruelty, like, just is a prime example for sure.
Yeah, it was completely different to In the Son of Evil, you know, which
Yep.
was another guitarist back then. And so I know people like it, you know, and you know, when we're gonna play live shows, there was so young people going to a solo show. There was a new generation
Yep.
and I always talk to them when we have a signing session, you know, and these young people are really interested in the metal bands from the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
There was a little girl, she was 10 years old. She has a Vestus Hellhammer and Venom tank and all this stuff, you know, on a vest, you know. And she told me, I'm really interested in the metal bands, in the real metal bands, you know.
Nice.
And that was the bands from 80 to 85 or 89, something like this, you know.
Yep.
So I'm looking really forward because that is a new generation who's going to buy the new Sorum stuff or rebuy the represses, whatever, you know. That gives me a lot of hope, you know, for the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I got one more question for you, then I'll let you go because you probably got some more interviews to do. So I, as a fan, unfortunately never had the opportunity to see you guys live, but hopefully that'll change in the future, fingers crossed, but on your time. But I wanted to ask you, what are some of your fondest memories of playing here in Canada over the years?
Oh, I don't know when we played the last time in Canada. I think there was a festival or an open air concert, you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't remember anything. That was a couple of years ago, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But oh no, we had a strong fan base over there, I know.
yeah,
And that is the thing, when I restart the band, when I'm coming back, you know,
yeah.
I want to have to do more US and Canada shows, you know.
And
The,
that,
the last times we played in US, America, 3 or 4 shows, that was amazing. That was sold out so fast, you know.
yeah,
And people told me that, you know, they were waiting for Sodom all the time, you know. I know Creative Destruction are touring every year, you know.
yeah,
But Sodom is always something special. Sodom is always a rarity, you know.
yeah,
And I know we had a lot of trouble to get all the papers, you know,
yeah,
the visa and stuff and all. You have to go to Frankfurt to the embassy. You have to pay a lot of money. I think it's about 3,000 euros to get for one person, you know,
yeah,
to
yeah,
get the visa. And we also get it for the crew members, you know.
yeah, for sure.
It's very hard to go to US and very expensive. I
Yeah,
know it's for American men, it's easier to come to Germany, you know. You
yeah,
just need your passport to come in, you know.
yeah. So, because
But it's something on my list, you know, doing more America shows. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, behind the scenes, you know.
yeah,
You know, so some people say you can go as a tourist, you know. I
yeah,
can't, you know. Maybe there's somebody on the security or so you're talking from Sodom, you know, what you're gonna do here, you know.
yeah,
And he gonna check my homepage and everything.
yeah, yeah,
You are done, you know. You work when you're gonna make a live concert, you gotta work, you know. And
yeah,
that is something they want to know, and that's something the government have to accept. You
yeah,
can work here or not, you know.
yeah, for
That
sure.
is all. We always had problems, you know.
Yeah,
Always a lot of, but we did it, and we did a couple of shows in US America. That was great, you know.
Yeah.
But there's something on my list when I talk about a comeback, whatever, you know.
Tom, I just have to say thank you so much for your time as a fan. It was a real pleasure to have you on here. And
Yeah,
everybody watching, please go pick up The Arsonist when it comes out June 27th. And
here we go.
it's and revisit Sodom in the back catalog. But if you want to see Sodom live, you're gonna have to wait for a little bit. But support Sodom, buy the record.
Thank you for the support, my friend, and yes, and take care, all right?
Okay, thank you, Tom. Thanks so much.
Bye bye.
Bye.